death of Timothy Piazza hits very, very close to home for the Braham family. Their son, Marquise, just 18 years old when he pledged the Phi Sigma Kappa house at Penn State's Altoona campus back in 2013. The Braham family says Marquise was under a severe amount of psychological stress after months and months of hazing. Ultimately, Marquise took his own life on March 14th, 2014. I want to bring in Marquise's father, Rich Braham. And first of all, my dear, I'm so sorry. I am terribly sorry, but I'm proud of you because I know that you are talking about this. In fact, you spoke, you testified in the case of Timothy Piazza. I'm so curious, what did you tell that grand jury?
Well, the first thing I said to them, Michaela, first, thank you.
Absolutely, darling.
And what I said to them was, thank you. We did not have the opportunity to testify before the grand jury in Marquise's case. So the opportunity to tell this grand jury, the Piazza grand jury, about our wonderful, beautiful son, a committed Catholic, a decent, kind person, we just seized that opportunity. A kid who was full of life and was just so looking forward to his college career. He was taking 18 credits. He was so proud of himself for having gotten a partial scholarship to Penn State. He was working in the Sky Cafe, a student cafe there. He was the dorm leader on his floor. He was, studying to be an RA. He had so many things going on. He was fully embracing life and the life that he had at that time. And then we lost him.
I know in the time, I know this is bringing back painful memories, and I do not like scratching an open wound, but I know that what you want and the Piazzas want and every family that has lost a son or a daughter want to make sure that no other parent sits where you sit. So understand, I am not reveling in your pain, brother, I am not. But I know for you it's important to sort of look at what went wrong with your son too, and part of the grieving is I'm sure every parent goes through. What did we miss? What did I miss? What could we have done? Did the grand jury miss something?
Well, the grand jury that was impaneled in Marquise's case missed everything as far as we're concerned. We did not testify before the grand jury. The grieving family of the victim was not invited to testify before the grand jury. So just wrap your head around that for a second. And there were many, many failures in the system, and that's what we have learned. And that's honestly what drove me here today to speak out today, not just for the Piazzas, but for all families who are suffering this type of loss, is that there's failures in the system. It started with Penn State. Penn State destroyed evidence. In our case, they had evidence of hazing inside his dorm room, him drinking bottles inside his dorm room, and they destroyed that and actually had the temerity to put it in writing. They put in writing that they did discard them, but they had handed over a 3-ring binder and a notebook, and this was all happening while there was a criminal investigation underway. It's insane. But that was
well,
only
it's interesting because I know Penn State, and it's no surprise to anybody, right? Penn State says they dispute the family's characterizations of all of these matters. But it sounds as though there was an internal investigation found that high-ranking employees at the school that knew that Marquise was in psychological distress, but no one informed you, the parents. Did you notice that you did notice that he was acting differently?
Honestly, we didn't. It was when Marquise was at school, this is what we noticed. Marquise was hard to get a hold of. When he was involved with the fraternal life, we couldn't reach him. He and I had an agreement when he went to school that we were going to speak at least once a week. Tried to every day, but I understand he's doing stuff, I'm doing stuff, I work in the news business, so it's hard to maybe speak every day, but we would speak at least once a week. He had a different deal with his mom, that he would speak with his mom every day. But there were stretches that we would just lose touch with him, and Marquise would always say he lost his phone. We later learned that they had confiscated their phones while they took them doing usually stuff that would incriminate themselves, blackmail, videos that they would take of the pledges.
Goodness. Would you, I think a lot of people are looking at Greek life now with a much more critical eye. I think many people are wondering what the future is of Greek life. We've seen on certain campuses that Greek life has been suspended temporarily while investigations are going forward. You as a dad who's lost your son in this fashion, what do you want to see happen? Do you think Greek life is important to the college experience? Do you want to see it move forward, or do you want it? What is the future for you? And if you were king?
Look, I would say for myself, I'm not opposed to Greek life per se, but hazing is a crime. Hazing is illegal. Hazing needs to stop. But for the universities who promote the Greek life on campus, they are beholden to the money from the Greek alumni. They really are. And I was told that by the president of the Altoona campus, that, you know, there's the alumni to think of. She'd love to end all Greek life, but there's the alumni to think of. So, I mean, that's part of the issue, but it's the hazing that's the problem. I think my daughter went to an all-girls school, and Marquise could have gone to an all-boys school. So there's nothing per se wrong with a single-sex organization. It's the hazing. That's against it. No child should have to die because they wanted to join a group. And
no parent should have to worry about losing their child when they send them off to post-secondary education, when they're supposed to be expanding their minds and forging their way in the world. Brother, we are grieving with you. We are so sorry, tremendously sorry. Give our best to your wife. Thank you for joining us. I know this is not a comfortable thing to do, but I appreciate you did it for your son and for other families.
Thank you, Michaela. Is there, I presume there's probably not time. I was going to just have one closing comment.
Go ahead, love.
All right, just really quickly, just again, it is the system that's failing, and this is what every parent of whoever has a child who's going to school, you cannot trust the system. In our case, and I hate to end it this way, the district attorney recused himself in our case without our knowledge due to a conflict of interest. We were begging him, like the Piazzas, had the DA in their case go aggressively to get those phones. That was not the case for us. You don't get to pick your DA. And the DA was not interested in seizing the phones of the students, despite all the evidence of hazing that was on Marquise's phone. He just simply didn't do it. And then there's the Attorney General's office that, knowing the evidence that Penn State destroyed, knowing that Penn State had done this report, because we told them, we knew it was coming. We didn't know what was in it, but we knew that there was a report coming. And the Attorney General's office never presented that to the grand jury. So the grand jury made their finding. They never heard from us. They never heard from Marquise's doctor. They never heard from any of the people that Marquise had been texting with back from his high school about the troubles he was having with right. Penn State and with the hazing. None of that they got to hear. I mean, so it's
doesn't
just
sound as though justice was served in the case of your son.
It's just the system. I'm sorry. I know you've got to go. I understand.
I know. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
You're welcome. We appreciate it. Our best to you and the family.